Hello everyone, we haven't captured a kid in the back, that is Harry. Hope you're doing well. We are across the Wirral. I'm having something to eat. I think we're all just snacking. Johnny's having a calm there. Newcastle have come away with a very nervous win. This is the last word. And we are proudly sponsored by One Football, who are pushing us, especially away from home, with all of their stats and the apps. And they're helping us get away days. So please download it. It'll have all of the statistics from possession to lineups to substitutions. But more importantly, transfers, which we will touch upon right at the very end. Harry, I'll come to you. Changes in the lineup we expected, but did you expect to see Matty Targett and Joe Willock?
To be fair, I did think Willock would start. I don't know why, I just had a feeling he'd go Willock alongside Anderson, which was what happened. Targett, I wasn't so sure on. I thought we might see Manquillo at left back or maybe Jamaal Lascelles. I definitely didn't think he'd start, so I wasn't too surprised to see him come off at half time. But yeah, no, to be fair, I wasn't too surprised with the lineup. Like a lot of rotation, which is what you expect if you're playing a League Two side.
Johnny, tell us about Tranmere's players.
Well, they play at Prenton Park.
No, we didn't mean disrespect by that. We didn't watch League Two football, so I couldn't tell you. Let's get into the game then. Newcastle fans full of voice, as they would expect. Great away support. Just to touch upon that first, though, Johnny. We knew that the reserves are going to be out. It's a midweek game, and they've travelled all the way here, and they're going to be travelling all the way back. You've got to credit the Toon fans, haven't you?
Yeah, they were brilliant, and they always are, and they always will be. 2,200 Newcastle fans on a Wednesday night go to Tranmere, and they'll probably be the same next Wednesday when we go to Anfield, just about 4 or 5 miles away, but from where we are now. But yeah, the fans are always brilliant. It was bouncing before the game, it was bouncing in the ground as well, apart from when Tranmere scored. But the fans are always mint. I think we've got the best fans in the world. I always stand by that.
Yeah, I would agree, especially when they never won now for years. Harry, the first half, lethargic, wasn't it?
Yeah, very slow start. We weren't really creating anything. I think Chris Wood up top as an option just wasn't doing anything. He barely got the ball. Matt Ritchie on that right hand side just, for me, did nothing. And you could tell though Newcastle just didn't have a foothold in that game in the first half at all until the magic man Kieran Trippier came on. I think the midfield was all over the place. Our passing in our own third was really, really sloppy, and we kept giving it away, and we were always encouraging Tranmere to take a 1-0 lead. It was, at times, it was really poor, and it, again, as you have seen in the match reaction, highlighted our lack of squad depth. Yeah,
we didn't create too much, Johnny. I kind of missed, because we were chanting for Miguel Almiron on the subs bench as he's warming up, and I looked across, and then they're through. Obviously, we haven't got the benefit of seeing the replays back yet, but it looks like Matty Targett's way up the field. They're on the right-hand side. It's a split pass, beats Jamaal Lascelles, and they've got to tap in with 1-0 down. Against the run of play, or do you think it was fair?
I think it was probably just about fair. I don't think Newcastle started brilliantly at all. I thought we were sloppy in midfield. I think I would say that I just felt like the two centre halves as well. It just didn't work tonight. In my opinion, I thought, yes, I know Lascelles has got the goal, but I just thought them looked nervous. I don't know if it's because they haven't played a lot of football, and it's a little bit understandable. But that goal, such a high line, and one pass has just completely split our defence like a hot knife through butter. And you've got to give credit for Tranmere to work that out. And then the guy's done well, because I think a lot of people, like a League Two player, probably would have gone for a shot because they're thinking, I'll get my name on the score sheet. But he does the right and sensible thing and lays it on the plate for the striker. Lascelles tries to get back in, but Darlow gets a touch to it, but it was just too powerful. And I would say Tranmere just about deserved the 1-0 lead going into probably about 25 minutes in.
And we still didn't create. Yes, the crowd were there, but we still weren't creating enough. Chris Wood wasn't getting any touches. Jacob Murphy, Harry, you've touched upon Richie. I think Murphy was particularly poor first half. I think he got better second. But Jamaal Lascelles was obviously battled. He had to go off a couple of times with a bloody nose, whatever it was. He had a full kit. Had to change that. At half time, obviously, I know just before half time, we're seeing Trippier come on. And that, I think that helped in particular more in the second half. But going into half time, we're 1-0 down, we're not creating enough. How do you think the dressing room is, and Eddie, what is Eddie Howe saying or doing?
Well, it was 1-1, wasn't it?
Was it 1-1?
Yeah.
That's how much I watched the game then. Ignore me. Yes, he did, because Lascelles scored, sorry.
Yeah. So
it was a few minutes before half time.
Yeah, no, but yeah, at half time, you definitely, we're glad, I'm very glad that we scored before the break, because Tranmere could have made that so hard for a second half, because they could have just dropped and dropped and dropped, and it would have just got increasingly difficult if we couldn't break them down. So it was really important. Trippier's impact was superb.
Yeah.
Immediately putting 2 balls into the box, one of them cleared off the line, and the next one's in from Lascelles. So yeah,
And I was joking you won that super sub. What a substitution.
yeah. But at half time, there would have you could see from the second half impact, Eddie Howe would have had a right go at them and said, "We've been shocking here, lads. We need to do better. Need more emphasis, more pressing, more enthusiasm." And you saw that to an extent in the second half. They got better.
He did. We needed that goal, and Lascelles was getting a little bit of criticism. I think was a little bit harsh around us. Every time he was touching the ball, he was like, there was fans just on his case.
He's never been comfortable.
I know, but it's a way of support. You didn't expect it. It's like get off his back a little bit. But he scores and Newcastle go in at half time, and you mentioned the tempo there, Harry. I'll come to you, Johnny. We were better in the second half, weren't we?
We had to be, because if we were any worse, we would be out of the cup in the second round. And with the good start that we've had so far this season, that would have kind of almost been forgotten about, because we would have been the laughing stock of the cup. But look, we did do better in the second half. I thought Elliott Anderson was good in spells as well, but we get that corner from Kieran Trippier and crosses in, and it's a good header from Chris Wood. He can't miss. He times his run to perfection.
Good for him though. Good to get a goal.
He needed the goal. He did need the goal, Chris Wood.
Great movement.
There's a lot of criticism with Chris Wood, and I defend him in the score on the players on Sunday, because he's there to do a job. And look, he's got the winning goal today. He's got the winning goal. He's got us through to the next round of play Crystal Palace. So that's all that we need to worry about. I think in terms of the general performance, I thought for the first 20-25 minutes of the second half it was strong. We let Tranmere kind of get back into the game, and then I think the fact of Bruno and Julian just coming on for the last 10-15 minutes has kind of made it a little bit more
strengthened that midfield.
Yeah, it did. And I don't think really Tranmere gave us many problems, even though they kind of had a couple of set pieces, but nothing to test all though.
I said to you, Harry, didn't I? You know what to come in. The last 10-15 minutes is going to be long ball, direct. Obviously, the Tranmere fan, Ronaldo's doing the Iceland stuff, trying to push the goal in. A lot of direct throw-ins, a lot of corners. But Darlow stood the test, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. To be fair, he wasn't tested, as Johnny said. Really, he wasn't really tested. He claimed a lot of balls with his hands. A lot of it was straight at him, crosses. He wasn't that hard tested, but it's just important that we got through. It really is. And so having our keeper have less to do is obviously going to benefit us.
Yeah. Newcastle hung on, final whistle went, and this is what the management said.
I've got no idea. I've been preparing a game
come on.
and watching a game. I genuinely got no idea. So on the transfer front, we'll wait and see. I'll speak to anybody when we can sign players, and I'll talk about it openly. But until then, I think I actually don't know what's happening, so we'll wait and see. Possibly, but that's not really my focus or the club's focus. It's the other way at the moment. We know that we need to improve numbers within the squad. If there is any outgoings, that'll be a late call.
So that was Eddie Howe on his, well, I wouldn't say a lucky escape. Look, Newcastle are form beaten, and it's a great start to the season. But as Harry said just before we heard from Eddie Howe, you just got to get through. And now Newcastle have been rewarded, with Johnny just said there, for home tie, which is what I wanted. To get into Palace, I think that's an all right draw. I generally feel it's an all right draw for Newcastle, and it'll good for people who don't get many games, especially kids as well, with the demand of season tickets. So that'll be good for the home support. But we'll go through. Johnny, I want to talk about injuries very briefly, because they're stacking up a little bit. I don't know what Emil Kraft's injury is. I know he's not first team regular. John Lascelles out. I've seen a couple of people go down with cramp as well tonight. Lascelles was bloody. Is it, we're looking at the transfer market, especially Callum Wilson. First of all, tell us about the injuries. Are you worried? And secondly, the transfers as well that will have to dip in the market. And obviously, there's a big, strong rumour about Alexander Isak, however you want to pronounce it.
Just to butt in, Kieran Trippier took a knock as well.
No, injuries first things first. Kraft getting a knock is a bit of a worry for me, because he is the second choice right back. I think Sam will probably clip that up now. But no, that is a worry. But that'll probably mean Mankey will probably stay. There's 3 or 4 players that shouldn't really be in our squad, to be honest. Let's be honest. And like your Federico Fernandez, as your Javier Manquillos, them sort of players probably aren't even going to be in a 25-man squad. So they probably need new clubs. But Kraft's probably the biggest worry. Trippier got a bit of a knock, but he played the rest of the game, so I'm not too worried about him. Lascelles, again, 4th choice centre-half.
Just I want to put in as well. Is anybody from tonight's game that's got the game out, scruff the neck and say, I'm starting on Sunday?
No.
That shows you, doesn't it?
No, not for me. Not for me, no. I think the only person you could argue is Chris Wood, because obviously we don't know what Callum Wilson's going to be like. We don't know how long he might be out for. He might be back on Sunday. Who knows? Hopefully, he can play. But no, there's no one that's came in there. Mighty Target potentially if Dan Burn isn't fit. You could argue he will probably come in at left back, and he is our best left back at the club. But transfers are sometimes they're good things and bad things. But a striker is what we need. We need a striker, and Newcastle have gone right. Who is our number one target? Who is our main man that we want to get, who fits our profile? And they've gone for Isak. I said Isaac in the thing in the video earlier, but if Isak is the one that we want, and he ticks all the boxes that Eddie Howe wants, then Newcastle have done the sensible thing with the injury issue with Callum Wilson, because we don't know how long he's going to be out for. For Isak, 22 years old, 1 in 3 in La Liga. We need to...
I'm more happy with that than João Pedro.
Yeah, I am as well, I have to be honest. But who knows with João Pedro now? And I think I've been trying to keep an eye on Twitter before we got to Tranmere, but Conor Gallagher, apparently Luke Edwards is saying we're pushing really hard and trying to get that over the line in terms of a loan deal. So we've got a week left. It's still, we might get 2 completely different new players, but it's the injury side of things. We just need to make sure that we're okay before we do anything else.
I think, Harry, we've got an alright. I think we're first 11 is fine. I think once we start getting injuries, you've seen it. Obviously, Shelby, Wilson, maybe a couple tonight. Then you've got to look at the transfer market and think, right, Alexander Isak, however you want to pronounce it, tell us in the comments, because I always get these pronunciations wrong.
Isak.
Is he like a blockbuster signing for you? Is like, right, there's one.
Well, of course, he's going to be our club record signing by some way as well. By the sounds of it, 58 million. So of course he is a blockbuster. You've seen him in the Euros last summer. I was highly impressed by him. His goal scoring record is decent, pretty good, 1 in 3 roughly. I haven't seen too much of him play, I'm going to be honest, but he is highly rated, highly talented. So yeah, he is a blockbuster signing. He's, you put him up there with your Brunos and your Botmans, and he's got good pedigree, and he's going for a lot of money, and hopefully it's money spent wisely. But
hope it happens.
Yeah, and that as well. Yeah,
it's
but I think it's more than likely. But fingers crossed it does. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on João Pedro? Because Fordy was on the other day, and he's just, it's not good enough. It's not good enough for Newcastle United to go for a Championship player who scored 3 goals in the Premier League. I know Watford weren't a great side, etc. But I kind of know what he means by that as well. That the ambition, if you're trying to get a Championship player, is that really what Newcastle should be going for?
I get the argument, but he has got a little bit about him, João Pedro. Would he have been my choice?
I thought you were going to say Fordy has something about him.
No, I've seen his thighs now. They're not for me. No, in all seriousness, look, with João Pedro, even with Isak, we're after a certain type of player in that position as a young, raw talent, and we're trying to get to make them better than what they are. Of course, progress them throughout, like obviously with better players around them, like saint-maximin, Miguel Almiron, maybe another winger potentially as well if we go down that route. So that's how I'm kind of saying it regards to João Pedro. But going back onto what Harry said, it's the spine. That's what Newcastle targeted. They're going, we need a spine. They wanted Nick Pope. They wanted Sven Botman. They've got Bruno in January. And the missing piece was the striker. If Callum Wilson gets injured, Callum Wilson would be the missing piece if he could be fit all season. But we just know he can't. They've gone out for Isak with a little bit of bits and pieces in the jigsaw. Matty Target, Kieran Trippier, Alan Saint-Maximin. It's all kind of gelling together. My issue would be who's going on that bench, because we need to make sure we've got some good players on that bench. Because you look at what we had today, starting in the starting 11 against Tranmere, a lot of those players on the bench. And we haven't even talked about Martin Dubravka, potentially leaving as well. And apparently he was ill. I don't believe that.
That was my next one, because obviously the João Pedro one, I'm not. If we're saying both, then yes. But if it's just João Pedro, I'm like, I'm not so keen on that. Harry, Martin Dubravka, he was on the bench at the weekend. All of a sudden, he doesn't play tonight. We expected him to play. Does that tell you, he's ill? That is the official line. I'm having none of that. I'm sorry, he's not ill at all. Is there a club in for him? that are just waiting and waiting and waiting?
Could be. Leicester were linked, 3 weeks, a month ago, I don't know, something like that. Could be. To be honest, I'm not sure. Who knows? Who knows? Only Martin Dubravka and his people will know. But if he were to go, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it's another place in the 25-man squad. We do need to offload a keeper. It's obviously you like to have competition for places, but it's got to be one of Dubravka or Darlow to go. So it's much for muchness where that comes from, because Nick Pope is number one. That's clear.
Tells me he's going.
Yeah. Well, it is being very, very quiet.
Because if a club comes in for a player, and there's maybe a bid or they're negotiating, and he doesn't play because he's ill and he's fine on the weekend, there's something dodgy with it. I mean, he could be ill,
possibly,
but it just stinks of like there's a club in for him, and if he plays tonight and he kicks a goal kick and pulls his hamstring,
I get you, but I don't see that they're different with keepers. I think, but to be honest, the one thing for me is Martin Dubravka's got a good attitude. He's a top professional, all of that.
He'll go how bless him.
Yeah. So if he's done this, then it's them saying, all right, we want to keep this transfer quiet, but you're not going to play, and we're going to let you off and sort your move out, all the rest of it. But it's not Martin Dubravka going on strike. That's one thing for certain, I think. Yeah,
I don't think it's that type of player, is he? So, yeah, it's going to be a busy few days. Obviously, we are heading down for another away game at the weekend, but there's transfers happening. I've seen Johnny do a video instantly. We might have to do it. It could be a very, very busy few days, and then the transfer window will shut next week, which we'll do a video straight after the Liverpool game, because we're back here in 7 days' time. And then obviously before that, there's a lot of away games, a lot of mileage, a lot of late nights, a lot of I'm editing this video back home as well. So that is it. That's from Harry, where you are. And that's Johnny as well.
See you later.
See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.